Hello guys, today we're going to be installing and testing a 52-inch Encon Casanova ceiling fan. If I can find the motor, in fact I have it right here. Show you guys the information tag. That is, if my camera can focus. There it is. This is a model number 52-CL. It's rated at 0.7 amps. Okay, 0.7 amps, 75 watts. And this has a date code of 10 of 93, probably October of 1993. I got this fan from Face Rip You Off, Steal Your Data, Provide Zero Customer Service, Lying to Sound a Stupid Garbage Book platform for $5. I thought it was a good deal, so I bought it. And yeah, I replaced the bearings in this because the motor was completely locked up. So I had to fix that. But now it should be running good. That is, if it all went well. I didn't damage any of the winding. Hopefully it didn't happen. I'm not sure what to expect of this because this is a hugger fan. I'm not expecting this to be a particularly high performance because this looks like a pretty cheap product to me. And it's hugger fans, you can't expect it to be a top performance fan because the blades are so close to the ceiling. I better get to a better position before I fall off the bed. Okay. Now, this should be a pretty quick episode because this has the easier style mounting bracket for the hugger fans. At least what I think is easier. That is a pretty subjective argument. But to me this is easier because it has the screws to thread in as opposed to the threaded studs where you have to screw bolts on. Or the nylocks, I think is what it's really called. It's all good. Make sure this is... I did fix the box off camera, so we should not have any more spinning box. Okay. Got this bag of screws ready to go, so we're ready to put the motor on. Now, one thing to note, there is no ground on this because whoever owned this originally took the screw off, probably because there was no ground in the box. So we'll just skip it for now. This electrical box is grounded anyway, so it's not going to make a difference in the grounding. Is it probably better to connect the ground than not? No. I mean, yes. But is it possible in this case, if you really wanted to go all out and put in a ground screw, then technically yes, but I'm not going to do that right now because it's just not necessary for a test. Especially because this box is grounded, so the fan is going to be grounded no matter what. If this was in a real world situation though, I would absolutely connect the ground and take a ground tail screw and do it properly, because that's a more correct way to do it. Although I think even if we don't connect the ground screws to the housing, I think it would still be allowed. because the electrical code, I think, just requires a ground and that's it. As long as it's wired in your house, you're likely fine. If I am saying any of this wrong, just let me know in the comments box. Okay. Just got all my wires connected already, and now we're ready to swing the motor up. And the main reason why I like these brackets a lot is because it's very easy to get the wires crammed in the box. You don't have to spend all this extra time trying to get the wires all in the box. Okay, we need these 3 screws for the mounting. Alright, let's get the motor housing up. Well, first of all, I want to make sure that the fan and the light both run before we do anything else. I do have some wire caps here to cap these wires off. These are the light kit wires. I'm just going to check and make sure that the fan and the light run. Well, not the light. Light is likely going to work fine, but the fan might not. Likely won't make as much noise once we put the blades on or whatever. Okay. Okay, now let's put the motor housing on. Now I just noticed that we only have 6 out of the 7 screws here, which 3 of the 7 screws are for the light. Of the tiny screws, that is. So I'm only going to put 3 in here because the motor housing can absolutely do without 1 screw. With the light kit, I want all of them on there. The light has fragile glass and I don't want it to break. I still need to go to the store and get some ceiling fan screws. Come on, screw, get in there. Okay. Alright, now let's get the blades on. Now this has a 4.5 motor, and sadly, this only came to me with 4 blades. So that's kind of unfortunate. I really wanted to have all 5, but 4 will work okay with this, but 5 would be best. I mean, all seriousness, from what I was told, it likely will perform better with 4 blades anyway, so it's not going to be a huge loss, but I would prefer the look of all 5 blades. It still looks and works just fine with 4, but I know that there should be 5. And interestingly enough, I think Boston Harbor makes this exact model still today. It likely has changed the motor housing and a couple other things, but it's, I mean, from a average person's standpoint, it would still look pretty much the same. It still has the Panama vents, or whatever you call them. I think Panama vents is just a fan community term because the Casablanca Panama ceiling fan has these exact same vents. So this is basically a Hugger knockoff of the Casablanca Panama. It likely won't work as good, but at least you have no stupid flywheels breaking in. You have no stupid electronic controls breaking in. And there's no, and the fan won't fall. Not to mention, this is easier to install than the stupid hang falls fall through canopy. Okay. And just so you know, in case you guys are wondering why I'm testing a lot of Hugger fans in here, it's because this would be installed in a real world use case. Okay, all the blades are installed. Let's install the light now. Okay. Alright, now we're going to tie the black wire to the blue wire and the white wire to the white. And also another thing worth noting, these still have the original hole fobs from when the fan was new. They're the old Encon fobs. All right. There's a lot of wires in this box. although a lot of it was probably my work. Alright. Now it's shut. Hope I'm not pinching the wires because that would mean that the brake would trip. Where did that other screw go? I know it's in a bag. Where did the bag go? It's right here. Alright, let's test the light and make sure that works. And I really don't like screwing and unscrewing these incandescent bulbs, so we'll just use a stupid DEL to check it with. Okay, the light works. Fan works. Actually, the airflow is not too bad. Well, we'll do an assessment of the airflow once we get this thing fully installed, or get the light globes on. This is what the light globes look like, guys. These pretty standard globes. What I would expect on something like this. Thankfully, these shades are actually still under production. For those who don't know, you can buy these from Aspect Creative. These, I think, are $28 a 4-pack. I think that's money well spent for restoring old vintage lights. Okay, that shade is on pretty securely. I gotta say, I really like this light kit that this has. It's a very nice light. I wonder if these shades would have been more modern style for the time, because these are iconic 90s shades. They were used on some fans in the 80s though. But I really like these shades they have. These look very nice. And I'm glad that these are still sold to this day. Okay. Got one more shade and then we're ready for test. Now, one thing to note here is there's no dust cloth in the housing, so I don't know if there would have been a dust cloth when these were new. If anybody knows that, I'd like to know. I'm going to turn off the air conditioner so we can get a good assessment of its noise. Alright, let's put this down a bit. Then we can see how well it performs. We'll put this bulb in there. That light works. The fan will work. So I have my tape measure up here. If we do, we'll calculate the CFM on this as well. Let's do a couple feet per minute measurements. We'll go with 472. 472 for high. Then medium. It's making a bit of noise on medium. But this is a winding base speed control system, and medium and low are just naturally just noisier that way, apparently. Take another feet per minute. We'll go with 334, and then low. And then low is nice and quiet. Are we even going to get a measurement for low? That's the question. We're not going to get a measurement for low. That fan is just not turning. I want to see, do we have a feet per minute measurement? Let's do that. We'll subtract 10 inches. We'll just turn the fan on low. So our number is 13. 13 times 472. That's 6,136 CFM. Not lying, this is what my calculator says. That's actually above average for even downrod fans. So this, I think, is a pretty good high performance fan for it being a cheap product as well. And then we said 334 was for medium. It's 4,342 CFM. That's pretty reasonable. And we got no reading for low, but we'll guess about, we'll guess about 1,000 CFM. So, I mean, the medium is closer to high than low, but I think this generally has an okay variance in the speeds. Make sure reverse works. And reverse does in fact work. So yeah, I think this is a pretty good find for $5. And replacing the bearings in this thing was a pretty economical repair. That the bearings I use are about $1 a piece, so we'll tack about $2 on, so $7 onto this fan. And, well, scratch that. I also had to add a new capacitor to this because the capacitor was bad as well, so we'll tack about $6 onto that, so about $13. But even $13, if that's what I paid, I think this is a pretty good fan. Yeah. I think this will definitely help me keep cool tonight. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you guys for watching. Bye.